Paranomalies podcast would like to thank Twinkle Twinkle Little Store, located in Cheyenne, Wyoming, for sponsoring our show.
Good evening, Jason. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you doing, Aaron?
I am good. A little bit nicer here than it has been the last few weeks that we've been on. Just some wind today, but not, no snow. Kind of cold, but reasonable.
It's weird how it's going from 5 degrees with the wind chill, and then we had 58 degrees the other day. I got out on the one wheel and was cruising around for a couple hours. It was nice. Felt like
like Saturday there was no wind and it was great. It was so nice. Yep. We're gonna start out. We do have Krystal Blevins on tonight, and we're going to talk to her about some of her accomplishments and just what got her into the paranormal. First, we want to talk about our sponsor, Twinkle Twinkle Little Store. I've talked about it the last couple of weeks. The Tivoli, their downtown location, has been purchased by a investment group, and they are not renewing their lease, which is it's what they want to do, and that's on them. It's horrible because that building is such a great building for what they do.
Yep.
So they are going to be moving into the mall. They do have some renovations in the space that they're going into that they're going to be working on and getting those done. They do still have their Ridge Road location. So please go see Tim and Patricia. Support those people. They are great people. And they're going to have a bigger space and more cool stuff in the mall. But while they're going through that transition, go see them at their Ridge Road location and keep supporting them there.
Yeah, that Ridge Road location's a cool little store. That's where they started out, I believe. And, so we've been going in there for years now. And they've got so much cool stuff in there. I always like taking the kids in.
Yeah, they're still going to have group stuff and all the kind of stuff that they do. They'll be doing that. I think in the back, she said they're going to do something at the mall. So nice. We still may have the Twilight Tales there where people can come tell their ghost stories.
Good. Yeah, I know they like hosting us there for that, and that's always a fun time. So
it is a great time. We have a good time. Something else that we have going on this week, and we are proud to get out there, is our second episode will air on Paraflix on Saturday.
Finally.
And the trailer is out, and you're going to get a look at it right here. Is there something there?
Well, I've been telling myself I'm going to do a solo here at Whiteface. So here we go.
Whiteface House, Yates Center, Kansas. We went down there Labor Day. We're finally getting this out. It was a good investigation. We had some great stuff. You guys are going to get to see that. Go over to Paraflix and watch that. Remember, if you're don't have Paraflix yet, WOW25 is going to get you 25% off your first year subscription. And we're excited to get it out. There was some cool stuff there.
Yep. Yeah, that was a really interesting episode, and that trailer was a lot of fun to make. Kind of captures it, kind of high energy, and it was a long drive out there and then straight into investigating. So that was a fun trip.
Yeah. The girls, Jackie and Gina, did the double Estes there. That's kind of become our signature thing for everything now. And then you did the solo in that basement, in that crawl space.
Yep.
It was about 900 degrees in Kansas. due to corn sweat.
Yep. Yeah, and the corn sweat got us. It was rough in that house.
Yeah. So that will be on Paraflix this Saturday. So right now we are going to bring Krystal in and start talking to her about some of the stuff she does. Good evening, Krystal.
Hey,
Hi.
Krystal.
How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. We were talking before the show that you had a little bit of snow down there, kind of a little dusting.
Yeah, just a little bit, just enough to keep the kids home from school.
We were commenting on what it takes for it to close school up here. Anywhere, you get a dusting in Tennessee, and we need 2 feet for the school to close. So let's get into it. And what got you interested in the paranormal?
It's a pretty long story that goes way back. I mean, I dare to say even birth, given the fact that I was deceased when I was born for 7 minutes. That actually called the time of death, and medical records say they actually walked away and the baby cried. So
Oh my gosh.
here I am.
Wow.
I spent my childhood seeing what I thought was just people. But as I got older, I realized that that's not what it was. My parents thought I had an active imagination. I was an only child. All the things, all the stories that you hear about kids and seeing spirits. But I was raised by a Southern Baptist. And with that comes, you didn't see it. It didn't happen. It's just the Holy Ghost thing, all those things. And then I was raised in a very Christian-based community full of all religions, but mostly Baptist, Methodist, just the Southern types of religions. So it got all suppressed, and I didn't really pull it out, didn't really use it, didn't really talk about it, didn't want anybody to know. And then as I got older, started having children, divorce, finding myself going through the motions of life, I decided to just one day go to an event. I mean, I did it on my own. I did it in high school with friends. I did all the little dares and tricks, but I went to an event because I was finally doing things for me. And when I did, I was hooked again, and I saw equipment. I never worked with equipment. I was my equipment. So it just kind of went off from there, and I made friends, and I kept making friends, and I kept meeting people. I kept just going play. It was my new life. It was my life. It was what I did for me on the weekends that I didn't have my kids. So, and here we are.
Here we are. How many years? I mean, when you went to that first event, when was that?
That first event was about 6 years ago. But prior to that, I was doing things on my own in my community, just with friends or just people that was interested, and we would just do it on a Saturday night. So
Sure.
all in all, I would say 10 years of just hardcore, really learning methods and doing my research and discovering myself.
Nice. Good for you.
You mentioned being born deceased, and we've had a couple people that I know. One that comes to our events, came to our first premiere and then to our ghost story night. Younger female who was born deceased, and then there is someone in our family that was born deceased, and both of them have the same experience where they feel and see those spirits.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if having already crossed over and coming back, if you have a tighter connection to that other side where that happens.
That's my theory. My papa, even though he was Southern Baptist, always told me that I definitely crossed over, he felt. And he was sensitive too. There's a lot of sensitives in my family. They don't want to talk about it, but it's almost like it's a family trait. But then when you add in that part of it, you've already broke the veil. That veil's really thin at that point. And when these spirits realize this, it's on. They're not going to let up, good and bad. They're wanting, there's someone that can actually feel them, hear them, all the communication. So it makes it a little more intense at times, but definitely fun and a little intimidating.
So I've talked to people before that have, you know, kind of had the same experience with you with, you know, visually seeing spirits, you know, throughout their childhood. But as they got older, you know, the visual part of it has kind of tapered off and, you know, gone more
Mm-hmm.
into just, you know, the mediumship. I say just,
Yeah.
right? Like, but do you find it changing or, you know, with your situation, does it kind of seem to be the same interaction as when you were a kid?
No. When I was a child, I remember thinking they were real people. Just they looked just like me to me. And of course, the years of suppressing everything, it kind of went away to an extent, or I just wasn't paying attention because I was busy raising children and all that. But I guess what really triggered it, if I'm being completely honest about it, well, I mean, I'm not going to be honest, but my firstborn was about a year old, and my father passed away when I was pregnant with him. Oh. So we were home one night alone, and he sits straight up in bed, and he's barely talking, but he's like, a man. I'm like, would you just lay down and stop? You know, go to sleep. It's bedtime. So about 2 days later, we're looking through pictures because I'm working on a Christmas present for my mom, and he points at pictures of my dad. And he says, man. And it was comforting, but then kind of like, oh my gosh, that is possible. That
very surreal moment.
That is that does happen, and I can do that too. And then I start thinking, hey, can he do that? But it was just, you know, the baby thing, I think. But that really triggered it. But then the situations I was in after that, I still couldn't do it. So, but it was in the back of my mind. And then I start really reading a lot of things just in my spare time. But then so 10, 11 years ago, though, I really got it started. But I didn't see things at first. I could feel it. I could hear it. I could see shadows. I could see dark figures, but I couldn't see apparitions.
Okay.
But it's coming back. It's I would say the last 8 months, everything has kickstarted to a level that sometimes I don't even know what to do with it. And it can be a little much.
What was the trigger there?
I control it. As far as seeing things more clearly, more clearly.
Yeah, you said about 8 months now. Okay. So what was the trigger that 8 months ago mark?
I have been trying to figure that out myself. I don't know if it's because I'm doing it so often or I'm learning who I am a little bit more because I'm doing it more. If it's the people I'm around, you know, I'm around several sensitive people, and we kind of our energy kind of bounces off each other, and it makes it even stronger. But I don't know if it's something personal inside me, or if it's I wish I knew because I would do more of it. But it's just kind of, it comes in waves, but it's definitely hit a plateau. It's way up there, and it's a little much at times, but I'm working with it.
So have you developed any techniques for, you know, I guess controlling it, dealing with it? Because I know we've talked to some people that say it's, you know, very overwhelming, you know, and they can't really shut it off. Have you found a way to kind of try to start to balance it, or?
I'm working on it. The only time that I have a really hard time, honestly, is in hospitals. You know, working hospitals. Hospitals are full of everything, every walk of life, birth, death, sickness, mourning, happiness. That's the only place I can say that it's overwhelming, where it's just constant, you know, chitter chatter. But it's not terrible. It's really not. It's not like you think.
What
we got a lag again.
I think we're okay. We're good on this side.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I
Okay.
think I glitched for a minute. My browser went all weird, so that was probably me.
Okay.
So you were
It's the aliens, like
the aliens, yes. The drones. Yep. You were in Paranormal Press magazine. Tell us a little bit about that.
yes. Just had an individual reach out and ask if I would be up for an interview. I was really new to all of this on that kind of level. And I was at first kind of hesitant because I'm a female, it's like, what's this about? But it was pretty interesting, pretty cool. I just submitted a lot of pictures. We actually did just an interview over the phone because I think he was in Florida. I've got another one that's being worked on. I have that interview. I'm working on it in my spare time, but I'm supposed to get that turned in hopefully tonight. So I can't remember the name of it. That's terrible, but it's coming too. I really can't. That's terrible. It's been a busy few days.
Lately, there's been a big push about the women of the paranormal. And, when I think back, we started in October. And when I think back to everyone that we've had on, Jason, I think that, Goose Flats, we had Brian from there, but I think everyone else has pretty much been a female at this point.
Yep. And we had Horn Paranormal, the husband
Horn,
wife
right?
team.
Yep. Yeah. So.
But yeah, a lot of females are up and comers, in the field. I say up and comers, they've been around for a while, but starting to get the recognition and getting, the publicity. Just I think, things are turning, and yeah, it's been really cool listening to all these stories.
I think with females, it's more of the sisterhood. Honestly, I mean, yeah, we like to. There's several of us that are in it and like to do it, but I've investigated with several female groups. Some of them are really, they're not really believers. They love the sisterhood, but they're still going and they're still looking for that big piece of evidence. But it's just like a sorority. Sometimes you just got a bunch of cackling girls laughing, and it can be a lot of fun. A lot of my paranormal friends are females, but I have just as many males. So I like working with both. I can get something. I learn something from both. I think the women are a little more brave than the men sometimes, but I'm not going to say for sure, but I think that's usually accurate. We're usually the more brave ones.
I'm going to agree with that, because actually, if they watch our shows, the one coming up this Saturday, they're going to see where we're walking up the stairs and there's a big noise up there. And I'm like, no, someone else can go first. So I also think that it goes back to when you look at the original shows, Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, it was all men at that time. And the women weren't getting the recognition at the beginning of the paranormal climb in that. And now they are. So I think that's great,
Yeah, and if there was a woman on the show, it would be like a special guest, right? It would be like they treat it like a special thing, right? Bringing someone in versus now it's just, a team that's integrated.
Yeah, I feel like, like I said, I do not think one sex is better than the other. I think we all equally have something to offer. Sometimes I think women are they're naturally more sensitive, obviously, and they're more emotional, and that helps. It really does, because you can connect with what you're communicating with a little bit better. You've got a child spirit. You're a female. They're going to communicate with you a whole lot faster than they are every man in that group.
Yep.
Unless it's a little boy, maybe, but still, they're going to want that mama. Men spirits. I love prisons and jails. Those are my favorites. Why? Because I'm a female and I can get the activity.
Yep.
But it's just the nature of the beast. What you are in life is what you are in death. So you're a dirty old man in prison. You're going to be that in death. So it's going to come through. So if I want that evidence, I got to put myself out there and, hey, I'm a female. Here I am. It's just how it is. Yeah, men don't get that same thing in prison. they might get more of a negative thing. They're going to get more of a negative response sometimes. They're men.
Yeah, more of a territorial. So, yep.
Yeah, same with our group. Gina's sensitive to it. Jackie's coming around into hers. So the women in our group are the same way, and we do see that when there's like child spirits. That's who they're coming to and who they're coming through as well.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes sense, honestly, to think that, but I've seen it. I've experienced it. I've been places where I got nothing and the men were getting things, mostly brothels, but I mean, it's just the nature of it. There's no other way to explain that other than you are in life or death what you are in life.
Yeah,
I totally agree with that. We've definitely had our share of investigations where, out here out west, you've got a certain personality and a certain way of speaking, right? In the old west, and seeing that come through nowadays, through an EVP or doing an Estes session, and getting the old speaking patterns and stuff like that is so interesting to me that I think you're right. Who you are in life is who you are in death as well.
Speaking of prisons,
and also you've got your accents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's the lag. Accent. I know it's terrible here.
You're okay. Yeah,
Go ahead
accents.
With the prison.
Okay. So the prison and getting the attention from them. You said you're about 40 minutes from Brushy State, which is on my list of places to go to. Tell us about Brushy a little bit.
Brushy is my favorite place in the whole wide world in paranormal. It's got a place in my heart. There's no other way to put it. Yeah, it's prison. Yeah, it was a terrible place. Yeah, there's terrible things happen, and that makes me weird. But with all that put aside, when my career several years ago was a paralegal, we were a defense firm. We had to go to Brushy Mountain and speak with prisoners. So I was there when the prison was operating. I was there talking to inmates. I've seen it. I've seen it alive and I've seen it dead. But I've been there so much. These spirits know me. They know me, and it's almost personal at this point. I've never felt threatened, other than maybe once or twice. But I say that. Hold on. The first couple times there was a couple incidences, but really, no. It's almost like a second home to me. I was there for Haunted Discoveries. They asked me to do a little bit of an interview there on that, which they're good friends of mine. So I was like, I really don't want to be on the camera, but okay. And then Brendan Alvis, he's like, we got T-Dog. And I said, okay, I'm on board then, because I think he's actually in the chat. Maybe I see Tim Coomer. Are you there? Maybe. Yeah. So he was actually on it too with me. So we had investigated there together. His first time. I went with him on his first time because I can walk around that place with my eyes closed and tell you what everything is. So I think Outlaw's also in here. I'm just now seeing the chat window, but those are the two people that I investigate with the most. So they know me really well.
Yeah, they're both in here, and they're commenting. We're bringing those up. Tim did say that Brushy Mountain is amazing and crazy. So do you care to share one of those experiences that you had?
Yeah, my first one has always stuck out in my mind just because it was my first negative experience ever. And I had my oldest son there. They had just opened up for tours for after it had closed, they did a little work on it, opened it up for tours, and they was doing nighttime tours. It was my birthday. My birthday is October. We went, and we're walking around. We go into one area, which is a pretty hot spot. It's an auditorium area, which is historically where most of the shanks and murders would happen. You're in the dark. They come up behind you, slit your throat. We were in there. We both smelled like eggs, gassy kind of smell. And I just said, "You got a gas leak up here." That's all I said. And she said, "What?" And I said, "Do you have a gas leak up?" She says, "We don't have gas up here." "Well, you do, because I smell it." And she's like, "You?" And then my son, he's like, "Yeah, I do too." And she said, "Well, you all need to go in there." So they made us leave the room because there was a spirit in there that was said to crawl on the floor, and lots of people have seen it. It's a very dark spirit. But as we walked, I never felt alone after that. So we get into D Block, which is my favorite place of the whole prison. Of course, D Block is where they kept the murderers. That was where the bad boys were. Yeah. And so I was walking through there, and I was at the end of the line, back at the, kind of funny I said that because that's called end of the line. But anyway, I was at the back of the line, and I heard a clank. So I turned around and I pushed my flashlight up because I heard something. And this smoky, like, it wasn't even a figure at that time. It was like smoke comes from the bottom of cell 13. I won't forget it. Come from the bottom and rose to the top. It never made a figure, but it was like a black cloud, and I could still smell that nasty smell. But when I put my flash up a little bit more, it was like it went through it and it jolted out the door for whatever reason. And I didn't waste time either. And I went the other way. So that was all I had really experienced negative. Do I like to use the word demon? No. I hate that word. I do. I know they're out there, but they're not everywhere. And I'm not one of those people. Do I think it's a dark entity? Yes, it definitely was, because there's a lot there. Do I think it could be? Yes, because other people have said that. Everybody can't be wrong, I guess, but I won't verify that because I couldn't tell you the difference. But I know there's not demons everywhere. But if there is one, I'm sure that's a good place for it to be. I mean, you're talking about Native American land. You're talking about Appalachian Mountains. You're talking about things before that prison ever existed. So it's not just the prison on that land. You've got Appalachian spirits, which, let's be honest, they can be rough. And then you've got your Native Americans. So that was long before that. And then you add in all of the cruelty and brutality and murders and nonsense that happened to these prisoners. You're going to get a lot of something. And it's not going to be good all the time. So, but you got to go. You have to go.
Yeah,
that's
definitely
on
somewhere.
our bucket list to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking, the stepdaughter had to make a trip down there and back real quick. And we were talking about the Appalachians, and Gina hadn't really heard a bunch about it. And I was like, I listened to a podcast. I wish I remember what it was, but it was like, if you see something in the woods, no, you don't.
No, you didn't.
If you hear something, no, you don't.
No,
I
you
was
don't.
like, yeah.
Well, I can explain that. I can tell you why that is. I mean, it's either live people or it's of the skinwalker type. I mean, no, you didn't. Those are two things that you should be worried about around here. I'm telling you, is the live and the skinwalkers. Because both are yeah. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I think most of us in this field are more scared or would rather talk to dead people than live people anyway, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, they really can't hurt you. You can hurt yourself getting away from them, which I saw many people do. But they can't really hurt you.
No,
I mean, they can attach to you. But.
Yep. Yeah, they could, I think, the psychic damage, right? The energy draining, stuff like that. But yeah, I've never really believed, they can, cause like intense physical damage. Scratching, hair pulling, stuff like that, yeah, but nothing that's, I think, gonna kill you. But yeah, I spent, like we were talking about before started, I spent some time out in North Carolina and loved hiking out there. Never got to make it. up to the Appalachians, but even in some of these more remote woods, in North Carolina, it's like you're out there, just you and your buddy, you're 10 or 15 miles back in the middle of nowhere, and you just feel eyes on you, and there's no shaking it. You can't tell what's there, and but yeah, it's definitely an eerie feeling hiking in that type of stuff out there.
Well, those are probably live people.
That's kind of what we were speculating too, because we were both training up for a course that we had in the military, so we'd throw on our rucksacks, weight them down, and just go, and come across some old shacks and stuff like that, and it's like, all right, we should probably skirt around that and not cut through.
Just be sure you pack a gun.
Oh yeah,
or a pew
always.
pew. Can I say gun on here?
Yeah, go for it. Say gun.
We're good with it.
Yeah, we're from Wyoming, man. You're good.
So, other than Brushy, what are some of the other places you've been to?
I have been to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, Harriman Hospital, Octagon Hall in Kentucky, a lot of Kentucky. I recently was in Bardstown at the Jailers Inn, the old jail there. And then there's I think it might even be America's oldest bourbon bar right next door. And that's Jesse James has a story in there, and he shot the wall and all kinds of things. So I'm going back. I got to sleep in his room. Absolutely. I got a thing for bad boys, I think. But I loved that place. I loved Bardstown. Every time somebody asks me this, I draw a blank. So if anybody pops in the chat and reminds me, that would be great. Of course, Waverly Hills. I've been there several times. Spent the night there twice. The Ditto House. I spent the night with Ernie and Denise. They own the Ditto House, which is in Kentucky. Let's see. Come on, Krystal. You know this stuff. Somebody asked me this the other night, and I froze up too, and it just started coming back to me.
That happens to me too. They asked me my bucket list place, and I'm like, oh crap, there's so many that I want to go to, and then I just like lock up.
Well, that's me, and traveling hasn't really been my friend as a single mother. It's not something you can just get up and do anytime you want. But my youngest is now a little older. He's preteen age, so it's not so bad, to leave him with someone for a few days. But next year, I hope to pick up a little bit and travel outside of Kentucky and Tennessee. But that's kind of been Georgia. I did a few things in Georgia. That's kind of been my thing, because I just can't travel very far, or I haven't been able to. But I'm getting those connections. I'm making the friends. I've got the people that are pushing me now. They're in the chat. I can see them. They're lurking on me.
They are.
Yeah,
they're over there.
Lincoln County Hospital. Yeah, that one was intense. But I prefer those places that are not locations, such as the hospital, Lincoln County Hospital, old abandoned build. I'm an abandoned freak. I don't care what it is. If it's not posted, and even if it is, I've been known to take the thing down just to go in. And I know that's going to get me hurt or in jail eventually, but that's just what I do.
Yeah,
and I really like the location.
It's worth it.
Well, they got to warn you first. I don't
exactly,
know
right?
Right. They can't just take you to jail. That's my argument.
There you go. Yeah.
But
yeah,
I like those places that are not that people would do anything to their locations. I'm not saying that, but there's some places that are just not. I've got local places here that I call them mine because nobody else here investigates but me. Nobody. I mean nobody. So the places that I know here in Jamestown, Tennessee, where I live, I claim them. They're mine. You can't go. But I know it's real. It's real. It's not a location. Nobody's making money. It's just a raw piece of land with a raw building with history. And yeah, so that's my favorite. But I've been several, like I said, Kentucky, Tennessee, and they'll start coming into my head here in a minute. I'm pretty sure of it. But a lot of it
Well-
is too just my own little places.
And Tim's asking, what's your number one location to investigate on your bucket list? So where's a place you want to get, the top place of your bucket list?
Are we talking like a dream, or are we talking reality? Because there's two different things there.
Well, let's do both. Let's do your dream place first, because I know
Okay.
I hope to get to my dream place someday, and it's in Ireland, you know.
Yep.
So someday I hope to get my dream place.
Ireland, yes, but I want to go to Dracula's castle. That's my dream. I mean, as weird as that sounds, that's my dream. Really want to go there, but in reality, at this moment in time, there's two. One I recently missed out on again, and I'm going to make it. I promise, Tim. Is Edinburgh Manor. The other one would be Missouri State Pen.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
So those are the two right now and Savannah. I've got to go to Savannah. I'm this close and I've never been. But so I've got three. Okay. But then I've got my dream.
Savannah's the most haunted town in the U.S. supposedly, right?
That's
So
what
they
they
say.
say. And I mean, I think I would do well there with this terrible accent.
Yeah, I hear you with the Transylvania, doing the
Yeah.
Dracula's castle. And to add on to that, the circle of trees in the forest there, where they've got that big circle of trees where nothing grows in the center of it, and they're still researching it. They've gone out and measured for radiation and all sorts of stuff. And last I heard, they still don't have like a definitive cause for it. But I'd love to. I love haunted forests. I'd love to go out and check that out too.
It's the aliens.
Yeah, definitely, it's the aliens. It's the drones.
That's the answer tonight.
It's
Aliens.
Aliens.
It's the aliens. It's the crop circles in the forest.
Yep. So you're a little
that's
closer
funny.
than us. You bring up aliens quite a bit, Krystal. Have you experienced anything relating to these the New Jersey drone sightings?
No, I don't even know what you're talking about, if I'm being honest.
Oh, okay.
Is
Yeah,
that
so
bad?
I guess it's
Okay.
it's around on Facebook. They're starting to talk about it on, like mainstream news and stuff like that. They did some hearings. I need to get caught up on it myself, but like early last week, all of a sudden just hundreds of drones have been seen over these towns in New Jersey, and some of these drones are the size of school buses and large SUVs. So they're not like these little DJIs that you can go get from Walmart and Target and then get up in the air. It's some serious aircraft. And supposedly the FBI has come in to investigate. The military has denied any activity in the area, so it's getting more and more interesting, and they just had some congressional hearings today on it that I haven't had a chance to get caught up on, and the Pentagon spoke on it as well. So yeah, it's been very interesting following this.
So the government's in it too.
Oh yeah, they're all in it, and there's rumors of a Iranian spy ship off the coast that I guess there's some sort of Iranian vessel that they're suspecting is sending out the drones, but the government denied that.
I just got another location, Thomas House. I go there all the time. That's in Rip. See, it's slow, but I swear he's coming back. And another one I want to add is I don't know if you say the word or you say the spell, the URA shrine. Jimmy might be able to help me there if he's still in the chat. I don't know if you say it or spell it, but it's a shrine, and I feel like I need to go.
Is that the one
got
in
all these
Bristol, Tennessee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, I think we're kind of jealous being out here in the West, places that are so far and few between as it is. We're back there where you guys are down south and even along the coast. Like places are so close, and you're able to do, if you wanted, you could be somewhere different every weekend, and we're hours away. for us to get to Kansas was 10 and a half hours, so
Oh,
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, everything's spread
well,
out
I
here.
mean, there are several though that I want to go so bad, but you can't fit them all in. I guess that's why you just have to keep doing it. Just I don't know, but gosh, what is that other one? Now it's not that I've been. I want to go. The Axe Murder House. What is that one?
Villisca.
Oh,
Mhm.
Villisca. Yes, that one is. I want to go there too. So I've got that, but
That one,
yeah.
over the last few years has been pretty crazy. When you go, from what I've heard from several different teams, depending on what you go in, like wanting to contact, you're getting some cool contact, be
Yeah.
it the family side or like the murderer side. If you want to go in and you want to provoke and you want to be a jerk and you want to get, then that's what you're going to get back.
No, I
And
wouldn't.
that's not what we do, but I wouldn't want that side to come out.
No.
No, I mean, and that location itself is it's sad. I mean, that's definitely not a place you want to be disrespectful. Not that you want to be disrespectful anywhere, but not where a whole family was murdered or children. I mean, no. And I've been in a rabbit hole about that story since I heard about it, what happened and who done it, because that's also what I do. I try to solve all these murders. I'm yet to solve one, but
Well, and then you had in 2014 at the Villisca house, you had that paranormal investigator that ended up stabbing himself a bunch of times.
what?
Yeah, I think it was 2014 that happened.
Where have I been?
Yeah, it was November 7th, 2014. A ghost hunter and his elderly parents checked in, and then they found him in a pool of blood with a hunting knife protruding from his chest, and it was determined he stabbed himself. So sad, but just more, that adds on to that house. Like, Aaron was saying, I think, there's so much energy there. You kind of get what you put into it.
Yeah, but I'm not a provoker either, unless I have to be. But I mean, I usually am not. And if I am, it's a location that I'm familiar with, and I know what I'm dealing with, and I know I have to say certain things, even if it's just to get it off of me. That's not really provoking so much as just kind of just having to get sideways with it.
Right.
But I don't just do that anymore.
It's important to set boundaries and, kind of let them know what's tolerated and what's not, right? It's just like dealing with a normal person. I'm not going to let someone come up and scratch me in the face, so I'm not going to let be okay with the spirit doing that either, right? Like,
no.
And I look
of course, I've only been scratched one time, I think, so I can't say I've really had that much, just once.
Yeah, I've been scratched once as well. It's really weird.
There was a comment over here in the question in the comments from Janet Ramsey asking, how do you prepare yourself before an investigation?
Oh, Janet, she's the one with the magazine. See, it's coming to me. I told you. She might know the name of it too. And I do know the name of it. I'm just drawing a blank.
It's right here. Ghost Buzz.
Okay. Yep. See? Ghost Buzz. It depends. If it's a location that I'm cool with and I'm familiar with, I really don't just walk in. But if it's not, I try to ground no matter where I go, even if it's off to myself somewhere. If I start feeling anything terrible, of course I'm going to bubble myself a little bit, but I can't bubble myself too much or I won't get anything coming through. So it just really depends on the location. I've only bubbled once. I don't even know if I did it right, because I was trying to take direction from my cousin over message, because she does it on a daily basis, and I'm like, well, you're gonna have to help me, because I need something now, because I don't like it. And it's not like me to say I don't like it. And that was actually just a couple of weeks ago. So when I messaged her and I said that, so that was just a couple of weeks ago, the first time I tried it. I don't think it worked because I don't think I did something right, but she's all about it, and she does it every day just to go out into the world. But other than just grounding myself, and of course I wear all my crystals and my stones and all the ones that do all the different sides of protection, or all the ones that give you strength or energy, supposedly. I mean, I'm going to believe in it. And I cleanse those. I clean them on a weekly basis. So that's about it. I just go in. I probably don't do that the safe way, but that's what I do.
I think there's some places where we're kind of the same thing. If it's somewhere that we've been, we have like the Knights of Pythias in town where we investigate quite a bit. Going in and kind of knowing what's going on, you may not do that. But new locations or new places that we're at, I think each of us have our own kind of preparation that we do, and we kind of separate from each other and do that. We don't do anything as a team because we all believe, different things.
Yep.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to push what I believe onto someone else, and they don't do that to me either. So I think we all separate and kind of prepare in our own kind of way and go that route.
Yeah, I mean,
I more concentrate on after the investigation.
Mm-hmm.
I try to, I like going in, I say open, but open in a different way, right? Like, just kind of whatever's going to happen will happen. That's my personal. And then, just making sure nothing follows me home at the end is kind of my, my line that I don't like to cross. So.
Yeah. I mean, of course I'm Christian still. I mean, I'm a Christian. So of course I'm going to pray, and I'm going to do, those types of things. It's not unlike me to whip out the sage and start burning it either, because I mean, that's just what I carry it with me if I'm investigating. Yep. I don't do that a lot because I don't want to make things leave that people, if it's a location, they'll actually ask you not to do that. But if it's a place that's really not, I might have to just for myself. But I've not had to do that, but maybe twice. But I do carry it just in case.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good thing to have. But yeah, I help run not the paranormal tours, because we don't really do tours, but we coordinate for groups coming in doing investigations at the Knights of Pythias, and that's one of the rules I've set up too. Is no smudging, no cleansing. We've got a good relationship with the spirits that are there in that building, and we don't want anybody coming in and disturbing that, right? So
yeah, I've never done it at a location. I mean, I've had to do it at places that wasn't. Like I said, that was twice, and it needed to be done for just myself, right, because it was bothering me, and it was me by myself. I'm not doing any types of words or anything. It's just running it. Really, it's not anything major, because I am not the one to cleanse. I will not. I will not. I'm not. And I was doing residentials for a while. I don't like doing residentials. I don't like going into people's homes, and I won't by myself because, again, I'm a woman, but I'm not comfortable with that. I don't know enough about it. My luck, I'd bring something in instead of taking it out. We'd all be in trouble, but I don't know enough about it. I'm not strong enough. I don't feel like I'm strong enough in that aspect of my faith to do that. I mean, I'm strong, but I'm not that strong. I'm not going to be casting out anything bad. So I smudge my own home on a monthly basis. Hopefully I'm doing it right. YouTube says I am. We're going with it. So, but I wouldn't want to do it in someone's home.
Right.
I've actually got 2 residentials that have been just messaging nonstop, and I want to, but I'm not doing it by myself. And in one of them, I know from what this woman's told me, it's a male entity, and I'm not touching that. Nope.
Well, it's good to know those boundaries and know that you're not comfortable with that. Like, and they should be respectful of that too, I feel.
Yep.
Yeah, they are. And they're like, well, and I'm trying to I think I know somebody maybe now. I thought I had somebody hooked up for one of them, but that fell through. People just doesn't like to do it anymore. It's just not something that people are really into for some reason. Not that I know. They're just, I don't know why, because that's part of helping And I would love to be able to do it and feel comfortable in it, but I would be so scared that I would do something wrong, especially if it was something bad. So I know myself well enough to know I shouldn't do that. Not right now. And it's especially if you're weak-minded in just the slightest little bit, it is not even smart to investigate a place. If you're having a hard time, stay away. And I've learned that recently. Just don't. Clear yourself of that situation until you are better, because it's the worst. I mean, it's not even fun.
Well, the comments section is hopping tonight. Like, all these people that know you are over here, and they have questions for you.
Okay.
Tim's asking again. He goes, "What keeps you motivated in the field, and what's keeping you going?"
I'm going to answer that honestly. I, like about everybody else in paranormal that I know personally, have days I don't want to do it anymore. You know, it's just, we all have those days, and they come and go. It's an ebbs and flows. But me, I keep myself going. I think it's just, I want to see how far I can push myself to get that one big thing. I've had big things, but I want that one big thing that makes a difference for me. And it changes me. Or not changes me, but it makes me a better person. Because, it's the only thing I did for myself ever. And I don't even get to do it that often, but it's the only thing that I do where I'm me. 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours a day. I'm a government worker. I'm answering phones. I'm talking to people. I'm doing that. That's not me. The weekends or when I'm home, I'm mom. I'm cooking. I'm cleaning. I'm arguing with the kid most of the time. That's me, but it's not me. So I keep myself going. My friends in paranormal keep me going, because every time I say I'm done, no, you're not. Yes, I am. No, it's a battle. And then now they're just like, okay, if you want to be done, but you shouldn't be done. It's kind of how it goes. But we all have those days. But I would say I keep me going. And recently, my 11-year-old has took a little liking to it, just a little bit, even though he says he doesn't believe. He has a lot of fun, and he's a lot of fun to go with. And I'm seeing things now in my head I'm hoping that come to pass, because we don't have that thing that we bond over yet. My oldest, I had sports, but this one, he's a gamer. I'm out.
Yep.
So I need that one thing that we can do while he's still young, that he can say, "Oh, mommy did this with me." And even though I didn't believe in it, but he gets scared, and it's funny, and he's hilarious. And I've got some videos, and some people are like, "That kid is so funny." Yeah, he is. He's a lot.
Janet asked a good question. I think I'm going to start bringing this into our line of questioning. Who would you jump at the chance to investigate with? That's a tough one. There's a lot of great investigators out there.
There is a lot of great investigators. Huh.
I think Dave Schrader.
This is going to sound crazy. This is going to sound crazy, and forgive me. Oh gosh, I can't even think of his name. Jack, is that his name? Osborne.
Oh, Jack Osborne.
Yeah, Ozzy's son.
Yeah.
Yeah, only because it's Ozzy's son too. But but as far as that goes, I've met a lot of investigators. I've met a lot of famous people. I guess you call them famous, but we're all the same. We're all the same. We're all doing the same thing. We're after the same thing. We're wanting the same thing, and nobody's better than the other. Yep. So there's nobody I'm dying to investigate with, just have to, but just for the entertainment purposes and just to hear him talk would be Jack Osborne.
Yeah.
And he seems like a really fun guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and he seemed to have a good mind for it too. He was getting into that show before he had the health problems for a little bit where um they were going out investigating different stuff. They did Skinwalker Ranch down in Utah and a few others, and I thought that show was pretty good. And then they canceled it. So
Well, I mean, he was raised by a man who bit heads off of things on stage.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna. I mean, I'm sure there's a little damage up there somewhere, but yeah.
Janet, thanks for that question. Oh, sorry. Janet, thanks for that question. And yeah, I'm going to bring that into the line of questioning. Jason, you answered that with Dave Schrader. Dave's pretty cool. I like the way he investigates. If it was a celebrity, I would say Dave. And I think that question can go a lot of different ways, because it can be like, depending upon what you're doing at an investigation.
Yep.
So, like Spirit Box session, I don't know, Krystal, I don't know if you know Greg Bakken, but Greg does an awesome Spirit Box session. He has a radio show every night, and I was lucky enough to investigate with him in Gettysburg one time and see how he does that. So if it's like Spirit Box, it'd be him. General investigation, it'd be Dave. Like, if you could pick, this is one where you could totally pick like a crew that you would want to investigate with.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, me personally, it's my crew that I prefer. I mean, and that's just because, it's just like you guys. I mean, I'm sure that you all have something different, each of you, to offer to an investigation. But I just don't think anybody's better than the other. And
right.
I like to work with everybody at least once. And even if I don't agree with their methods or everything, you can maybe learn something.
Yeah, good or bad. You take away something, right, from every interaction, every experience. Yep. And that's why I think one of my favorite, or one of my like kind of bucket list things to do would be to just travel, do all 50 states, meet a team from each state, show us your cool spot, right? And just meet all these people that are in the same field and enjoy doing the same thing. I think that would just be a blast.
Well, and it does go back to, like our team. I love investigating with our team because now we become a family and we mesh and we know what's going to happen, or who's going to do what, or who's going to take this role or that role, and just go with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I like my little crew. I mean, I don't really have a crew. All the time I'm a solo, but I work with the same people on a regular basis, and I feel like we're it's family to me. But so far, none of us have killed each other. But I mean,
well, if you do, you can still work together, right?
Yeah, but I mean, but that goes along the lines of the one thing, and I'm a completely honest person, so just don't look over me. Paranormal drama, I hate it, and I stay away from it. And I keep finding myself in it somewhere along the line, no matter where I go. And I'm like, nope, I'm out. And I'm going this way. If you're going, So that's the one thing that keeps me wanting to stop. I mean, I don't have time for that negative energy, but you run into that.
That goes back to where we're lucky again, where we're out here in the West. We don't have a ton of teams and a ton of that, and you're not someone's here, someone's there, whatever. However, because we don't have all that drama out here, that we don't deal with it. But back there's so many teams. Yeah. Make sure that there's no one live in where you're going, and because if it's abandoned, you just never know.
Yep.
No.
Well, we're pushing that hour. We like to keep it kind of there. Krystal, we appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
The last time we invited you on, you were sick, and you helped us cover that. And we're so glad that we were able to reschedule and get you on here.
Yeah, this has been great. Thank you.
Yeah. You are welcome.
Hopefully we can get you on again, or maybe we can get down that way and investigate with you.
Okay. That would be good too. If you ever want to get me on, I've got a couple friends that would probably come on with me, and we could all collaborate and share multiple
Heck yeah.
experiences and stories. So
nice.
Yeah, let's get something worked out. I think that'd be fun.
Yep. Thanks, Krystal.
Yeah.
Well, that was a great interview with Krystal, and everyone in the comments section, thank you for interacting. You had some great questions, and one that I'm going to bring to the podcast every week.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this was the comment section was lit this time around. It was great having all these people and asking questions, and it was a lot of fun. So thank you everybody for tuning in.
Oh, real quick though, this one's pretty good. Tim says that even though she might chain you up and blindfold you in a prison cell.
Oh yeah.
Not sure about that. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and everyone have a great night.
Thanks everybody.
The Paranomalies podcast would like to thank Twinkle Twinkle Little Store, located in Cheyenne, Wyoming, for sponsoring our show.